All right, let's just jump right in. You know that feeling, that sinking feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you look at the calendar, then you peek at your retirement account, and the two just don't add up. It is a heavy, heavy feeling. And if that's you, then you're in the right place. We're going to break down a real comeback plan for anyone who feels like they're starting from behind.
And hey, that's basically a promise right from our source material at Financial Mentor. The whole point here isn't to make you feel bad about the past. No way. It's to give you a clear, actionable path forward that you can start on like today.
So, 45%. Before you just brush past that number, let it sink in. If you feel like you are the only one in this boat, you are so wrong. According to the National Institute on Retirement Security, that's how many working-age households have absolutely zero saved for retirement. Zero. So the very first thing to get in your head is that you are not alone in this. Not even close.
And that number, it really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's the emotional side of all this. It's not just about the math on a spreadsheet. It's about that feeling of being behind, of constantly staring down the clock. Let's listen to a couple of real stories that they might sound a little too familiar.
This is from Becky Heptick, who is on the Bigger Pockets Money podcast. Get this. She and her husband hit age 50 with a net worth of zero. And that word she uses, petrified, man, it just perfectly captures that raw, terrifying fear of having absolutely no safety net.
And then there's Bill Yount, who was on the same show. Now, he had a great income, but at 50, his net worth was actually negative. His story really shines a light on the other side of this whole dilemma. The shame, the regret, the feeling of isolation that can creep in even when it looks like you're doing just fine from the outside. These feelings are real, and honestly, they're the first thing we have to tackle.
Right, so before we even start talking about 401ks or investments or anything like that, we have to talk about what's going on up here, in your head. You just can't build a new future if you're stuck looking in the rearview mirror. This whole section is about shifting your perspective from what I should have done to what I'm going to do, from regret to action.
And this is Becky again, and she just nails the crucial first step. You have to forgive yourself. You have to. Blame and regret, they're just anchors holding you in place. And the only way to get moving is to cut those ropes and decide that your story, your real story, starts right now. Our source from Financial Mentor couldn't be clearer about this. Kicking yourself over and over again, it doesn't help. In fact, it just pushes you further away from your goal. So from this moment on, your job is to focus only on what you can do today that's going to make tomorrow different. That's it.
Okay, mindset, check. Now let's get into the strategy. I want you to think of your comeback plan as having two powerful engines. The first engine is all about defense. This is where you play some solid financial defense by supercharging your savings and just cutting out all the waste.
Now, the biggest, most important defensive move you can make is to wipe out consumer debt. Financial Mentor lays out this really simple but incredibly powerful four-step process. You go after the highest interest debt first. That's your biggest enemy. You knock it out. Then you take that payment and you roll it on to the next one. You create a snowball of debt destruction, which frees up a ton of cash that you can then finally redirect to your real goal, investing for the future. And beyond just debt, your defense has a whole playbook. Financial Mentor outlines these 6 core tactics. You've got practical stuff, like boosting your savings by cutting back on expenses. Then there are more strategic moves, like making sure you're maximizing every single tax advantage you can get your hands on. It even includes rethinking what retirement actually looks like, which can make the goal feel a whole lot more achievable right from the get-go.
Defense is absolutely essential, but let's be honest, to truly catch up fast, you have to play some offense. So, engine number 2 is all about generating new streams of income. Saving is fantastic, but earning more money, that can literally shave years off your timeline.
And this image just captures the idea perfectly. We're not just protecting what we have, we're not just patching holes in a bucket, we are actively planting new seeds. The goal here is to build new wealth, not just preserve what's left of a paycheck.
Okay, so how do you generate new income without a ton of cash to start? Well, one really cool modern approach, which is outlined by Joist, is called contractor arbitrage. Now, it sounds kind of fancy, but the idea is actually super simple. Think of yourself as a project manager. You find the client who needs a service, you find the skilled pro to do the actual work, and you make your profit on the difference. You're not selling your own time or labor, you're selling your ability to manage and market.
And what's really fascinating is when you put it side by side with more traditional businesses. On the left, you've got ideas like becoming a handyman or buying a franchise. Those are great, but they can have really high startup costs, or you need to be a true expert at the craft.
The arbitrage model on the right, it usually has super low upfront costs, and you can run the whole thing from pretty much anywhere.
The advantages here are just huge for someone starting late. Low cost means low risk. High scalability means you can actually grow the business without having to spend a ton more money. And the flexibility? It means you can pivot to whatever service is in demand, whether that's web design one day or skilled trades the next.
Okay, so let's take a quick breath. We've got our mindset reset, we've got our 2 engines ready to go, a strong defense based on savings, and a powerful offense based on income. We've got all these different tactics, but what do you actually do first?
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? All the strategies and ideas in the world don't mean a thing if you're just paralyzed and don't know what that very first step should be.
And there it is. The single most important first step, according to Financial Mentor. You need a target, a specific, concrete, measurable goal. Without a destination, you're just driving around aimlessly. You have to figure out your number. That way, you have something real to work toward, and you'll know if you're actually on track.
This quote just sums it all up, doesn't it? Getting a really clear, honest view of your situation and where you need to go, that's not scary, it's empowering. It's the foundation for your entire plan. It replaces all that anxiety we talked about with clarity.
So, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. We need to reframe this entire conversation. This story is not about being late. The story is about making the decision to start. Every single person who has ever succeeded at this had a day one. And this can be yours.
And I'm going to leave you with this last question, which is pulled from our source material. Before you run the numbers, before you pick a strategy, just ask yourself this: what does your perfect day actually look like? What are you working for? What does that life of freedom and choice look like for you? Because that vision, that's your fuel. That's your why. And knowing that, well, that makes all the difference in the world.